Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are, whatever time of day you are watching this. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and welcome to the in-depth analysis of Nottingham Forest 2, Fossil Football FC 0. And guys, I've got to start by talking about Conte's interview, because talk about making it sound that we were lucky to win. All he wanted to complain about was how tired his players were, how they played 12 matches in 33 days, how poor old Harold Kane is very tired and they didn't know until the morning whether or not he was going to be fit. But he was determined to play. He wasn't worried about the World Cup. No, he wanted to play. On top of that, the bit that just killed me was when he said Lucas Moura wasn't available, as if he was the difference maker, as if the Spurs fans have been crying out for Lucas Moura to come in and change their season. It was hilarious to see the insinuations at how Forest were lucky to win. Look, he did put a little caveat at the end saying, we looked a little fresher, basically saying we wanted it more. But where's the respect? And then you jump onto talksport, and Dean Saunders, let me remind you, he's an ex-Forest player, and he's not giving Forest credit for that win yesterday. Instead, he's talking about how bad Spurs were. So that's why we're doing the video today. Well, we do it anyway, but that's my extra motivation to do it, to show you why Forest won and why we made Spurs look like the dinosaur team that they are. And if my brother's watching, enjoy this video. Guys, let's get into it. Before we do, can we just have a quick shout out for the community? This community, and I'm sorry if it gets boring to hear it, but praise to you guys is due and praise must be kept up. We have raised, look at the tally there, £1,228 in less than 24 hours. For those of you who maybe missed the watch along yesterday, we are giving away 3 of these t-shirts proudly displayed by Brennan Johnson. 2 for membership. So anyone who becomes a member, that 99p that you donate, we'll tally it all together, we'll chuck it in a pot, and we'll put it into the funds at the end of the week. On top of that, if you scan the code or you click the link in the description, maybe you want to donate more than 99p, like some of the legends did yesterday. If you donate through there, anyone who donates that isn't anonymous will be put into a separate draw for a further t-shirt as well. Guys, please do support this charity. The work they do in Nottingham, the NHS in general, how they save our lives, how they look after us even tirelessly and endlessly and with no thanks required. Please let us support them in the amazing work they are doing. So guys, with that said, go and donate. On top of that, if you could take a second just to give the video a quick like. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel if you'd be so kind. They're completely free to do. And as mentioned, joining, it only costs 99p and you will be supporting the charity. On top of that, to all the members watching, you asked for it, you got it. The Aurier emoji has been added to your emoji list. So spam them in the chat. And let's get into the video. What Conte isn't telling you, what talksport aren't telling you, what the media isn't telling you, for those who are saying, or insinuating that Forest were lucky to win, is the reason Forest won this was because of the press. The press yesterday was on levels like you've never seen. And we've got to start with the first chance here. And I'm going to try and whisper. I don't want this video to go on for 2 hours. I could go on for 3 hours. The press was so good yesterday. But we'll just start with this. This was the Lingards chance in the first half, the open goal chance. You can see here behind me, the ball's being passed back to Fraser. Now, have a look here at Surridge. He is, what would you say, about 20 yards away from Fraser here? Just watch what he does here. As soon as the ball's going back to Fraser, he's on the move. He's on the move. Boom. Like magic, he comes there. What does he do? He's pressing the goalkeeper, giving him no time. This is good centre-forward play. Something we haven't seen a lot of this season. But look at the difference. It forces Fraser into punting it upfield. And there's the Sergeant Aurier, leaping like a salmon from the kick from Fraser. and he's straight up. Look how high he is against Sessegnon. Position great, everything great. Bang, header goes forward. Where's he headed it? He's headed it into the space. Into this space right here. But what you want to be looking at is these two bad boys right here. They are on it. Look at all the Spurs statues. Standing still, no reaction, no reaction, no reaction, no reaction. The only one with any kind of movement seems to be Basuma, but he's kind of just like, oh, it's a ball. Oh, look at that. But yeah, the header from Surridge to pick out the space is incredible in itself. But the two Forest players are the key to this. Watch how they're moving. Let's move this forward. Bang, they're already there. Ball's still in the air. I know the angle looks weird. Here's what's interesting about it. What happens is Surridge sees that Owoni's going to get it first, so he goes to make the run in between the lines, which is absolutely perfect from him. Owoni brings it down, controls it quite well. For me, he needs to play that ball there into the channel. It's a mark against him for that. It's an easy through ball. Even with his Bambi on ice legs, he can produce that. Instead, he's too concentrated on trying to control the ball. It ends up getting he ends up getting crowded by the Spurs player. Somehow he does a fake kick in and he's able to open the space up and the ball still breaks for him. It's quite amusing to watch. And this is the most Owoni thing ever. As Sanchez comes at him, he clears the ball. Owoni blocks it and bang, you're going to see it. Well, not go into the net, but hit the post. It's only Owoni can do this. This is the Owoni skill. We're going to give it a name. Bang, it hits the post. No one's really reacting. They all seem, because of Fraser's reaction, to not move at all. But then, as soon as it bounces off the post, Lingard reacts first. And guys, this is a poor miss. Look where Fraser is. He's on his post. He's literally French kissing it right there. Look at the space that's wide open in the goal here. He's got to aim as far wide with that header as possible. Because he's good enough to analyze the situation and understand it's an easy goal and he can put it in. And I know a lot of you gave him man of the match yesterday, but for me, this was one of the things I marked him down on because the chance was too easy. And then bang, he headers it. It's too central and Fraser saves it. Just to confirm, look at it from the other angle. This angle's the telling one here. You can see just behind me, Fraser's there. That's the moment of impact. The goal's gaping wide open. He's got to put it in. What I will say is freeze framing things like we discussed in the VAR video can always make things look or dislook, that's not a word, but into whatever advantage you're playing it. I've always said I don't like Jesse Lingard as a Forest player, but when they're on the pitch, they're Forest players to me, and that's all I care about. So I don't try and skew it one way or the other. For those of you who know my Jesse Lingard agenda, in these videos, in the in-depth analysis videos, I just try and be as objective as possible. If it's positive for Forest, I'll call it out because there's loads of positives to talk about. But when there's a miss like this, he's low on confidence. He needed that goal. I think if it was the other way around and he'd scored already that other goal, this one would go into the back of the net, which tells you that it doesn't matter how many zeros you have on your paycheck. Confidence is huge when it comes to football. But the point of this clip wasn't to berate Lingard for the miss. The point was about how Sam Surridge was doing those tireless yards to get across, force Forster into a quick clearance. And then the press and the quick thinking of both Owoni and Surridge to look at the space. Lovely header by Aurier. All in all, it was a fantastic move that could have resulted in an early goal. So, that wasn't a goal, but let's move on to the goal. And why did I say that with such a smile? Because, of course, it is Renan Lodi who scores this goal. It's a beautiful finish, which we'll come on to. But the important part of this goal is the ugly side of football, where you will see what the likes of O'Brien and Mangala do. This is why I've been harping on about them for weeks and months and been getting pissed off with Cooper for not playing them over the last few weeks. Regardless of how much you want to argue that Quixote has had a good run in the team, Yates has on and off good games over the last few weeks. These two are consistent and their reading of a football match is on another level compared to what we've got in midfield. But anyway, that's a discussion and a debate for another time. Let's run through this goal so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, you can see here, Basuma's picked the ball up on turnover. There's so much space for him to work into. Already look at O'Brien. head looking this way. He's not ball watching. He's assessing the situation, seeing where all the players on the pitch are. This is football brain. This is a football brain in work. Let's move it forward. Now, that's Aurier going forward. Our right back. He's seen the danger and he goes and presses. And he presses quite well, but he's not able to get over it. Now, look where Mangala is. Let me just highlight him for you guys here on the screen there. He's watching the situation. He's positioned himself correctly at a distance where if Basuma gets through, he can cover Aurier. If Aurier gets it, he's there for a quick pass. O'Brien as well, looking at the situation now. He's right here, assessing where everyone is, getting himself into a good position as well. These two, the chemistry they have, and look where they are in relation to each other. In a nice connected line, always aware of where each other are. These two, they got to be. They're this close for me saying the first two on the team sheet. Do you guys agree or not? Let me know down in the comments below. Let's run this one forward. Now, Aurier couldn't get the ball. But does he just give up, throw his arms in the air? No, he's on Basuma and he's pressing him. Now, this is where the real magic happens. Mangala sees that Aurier hasn't got it. He's now making a quick assessment. Do I hold position or do I go and press? O'Brien, he's seen that Aurier hasn't got it. Let me move my big ass head. He's now tracking the runner here to make sure there's no pass. Look at that. There's no pass available in this channel from Basuma because of the work he can do. With Aurier starting to press Basuma from this side, it's very hard pass for him to get it out wide here to the Spurs player. But actually, that pass is probably still on, but he chooses not to take it. Instead, he's going to run into the unit. That is Mangala. There's Mangala's decision made. He's seen he's got past Aurier. Now he's going to press. Normally, what we see in this area is Forest retreating backwards. But with these two, they've got the confidence and the football brain to understand when to press them high, when to put a tackle in, and when to shut the game down. They know when they can win the ball or not. In he goes for the tackle. Bang. He didn't even do anything except shoulder barge him and knock him out the way. But again, have a look at where O'Brien is. Look at that connection between the two players. Let's just bring that up here. Look at that. They're always somewhere in and around each other. They understand each other's game so well. And this is only their second and a half game together. It's ridiculous. Let this partnership develop. I've been screaming out for it. Let it develop. And we'll see more play like this. And again, they're not in a flat line. That's the key thing. When he goes, he's covering him. And vice versa. It's beautiful, beautiful to watch a partnership like this. In goes Mangala. Bang. Knocks him clean. Basuma is not exactly, a skinny little lamppost of a chap. He's built solid. Does Mangala care? No, he knocks him clean out the way with the shoulder. Completely legal. O'Brien, look at him, watching the situation right here, ready to react. You've even got Aurier coming back. The shape, the determination. It's different. It's different because the personnel was nearly completely right yesterday in terms of that midfield. But anyway, he knocks him back. And then he's going to grab the ball and spin just kind of round the outside of him here. So let's run that forward. Bang, there he goes. Now, what you've got, Surridge Aurier, always ready. A second ago, Surridge Aurier's on the way back. As soon as we get the ball, he's not standing there picking his nose. He's ready to go and break as well. I love this guy. This guy is a hell of a find. I called him on the stream yesterday, the raggy doll, because he was just tossed away, wasn't he? Free transfer, a raggy doll, a reject. Signing of the season, dare I don't know, do we go that far? I still think Niakate is going to be the keyest signing. But in terms of value for money, in terms of performances, this guy is fastly becoming one of my favourites. And one of your favourites, I am certain. He's got that right back position locked down. I still think we can use him at centre back. I'm not going to open up that can of worms right now. But what a player he is. Anyway, let's carry on. Let's talk about what happens here. So what does O'Brien do? Does he just stand there and dally with the ball like we see our midfielders normally do? No, his first thought is, we've won the ball, let's progress up the field. There's no thinking at this stage a backward pass is required. Look, backward passing isn't the worst thing. It's better than losing the ball sometimes. But his instinct is to drive forward. He drives forward about 5 yards. He looks up and he sees nothing's on. He's got two Spurs players in front of him. And there's Yatesy doing his usual pointing. I don't know what for. I mean, he ain't even looking the right way. But Yatesy should be further out wide here to give that option. That's why O'Brien has to look and go backwards. What does he do? He makes a quick pass back into Mangala. And then what does Mangala do? Does he turn around and give it to McKenna so McKenna can give it to Henderson and then to Cook, etc.? No, he's been watching the pitch in front of him. He's been taking, mental images of where every player is. He's ready. Oh, I'm in the way of the beautiful man. But look at him. He's open. He's left himself open. The other thing as well is Mangala didn't charge forward once O'Brien got it. He held station, again, understanding the game. He's seen that Aurier's there, Yates is there, Lingard's there. He's in the right position. That's why I think he's one of the best players we've got in the club currently. Anyway, let's move it forward. And first thing, as I just mentioned, his thought is there a forward pass available? Yes or no? If there is, he doesn't dilly-dally. He took one touch, kind of turned his body slightly, and then bang, he's going to thread that ball into Lingard. Now, you can say the pass is overhit, or you can say Lingard lets it run across his body. You can see the ball, to me, it looked fine. In real time, maybe a little bit too much weight on it. Either way, it was close enough, I think, for Lingard to control it. I feel he chose to let it slide across his body so he can run onto it. I got no real issue with it. Maybe he just misjudged the pace of it because it does get away from him. But the good thing to see here, and this is what we haven't seen from Lingard much this season, is the determination to go get the ball. I've shown so many clips where Lingard has lost the ball and he's kind of just gone, screw it. And we've conceded a goal. I think of the Boring Mouth game. I think of the Leicester game and things like that. This is a slightly different Lingard tonight. You got to give him credit where it's due. And he was determined and he was fighting, getting back, getting forward, tracking for the ball. And what did he do? He knows he's at a bit of a stretch here because I think it's Doherty who's coming in from this angle against him. And he knows he's going to need to slide in and he times it beautifully, gets his studs onto it and he's able to slide it into the path of Lodi. And just have a look at Lodi if we go back here. You can see just here, right next to me, little bit of his head there. Look where he is on the halfway line. As we run it forward, he's already progressed forward. He checks his run slightly here to see how this scenario develops. That's football brain again. That's the football brain again. You Lodi haters. Not that I care. You want to hate Lodi, hate Lodi. You want to love Lodi. I'm fully in the love Lodi camp. Anyway, he assesses it. As soon as Lingard wins the slide, he's on the move and you can see his head is just right here. It's right here. Ball breaks to him. Forward he goes. And this is where things get really interesting because look at the Spurs line. It's not too bad. You can see where Iwobi and Surridge are in really good positions for a cross. You got Iwobi there and you got Surridge there. But he's got space to work with here. And a player of his caliber and quality is going to work with that space. But he could, if he wanted to, he could have whipped a ball into the corridor of uncertainty. I know that's a little higher than it, but the same kind of shape there. Let's run it forward. And now it's getting interesting because if you look at Sanchez, and I think this did make Lodi's mind up for him. If you look at his body shape, it's very sideways on like this. What he's trying to do is guide Lodi out wide here and then kind of squeeze him towards the byline. I think Lodi is aware of this. But Lodi carries on with the ball to see how it develops. And he's probably watching the shape of which way Sanchez is facing. So just keep an eye on Sanchez's body shape. Again, this is a really good picture. You can see his body is fully sideways on, which means he's fully committed to anything in front of him. Anything from behind him is going to cause him problems because he's going to have to spin. And if you're getting a defender spinning, then they're in trouble. What does Lodi do? He feints out to there, commits Sanchez. You can see Sanchez's legs have kind of split down and he's looking again still to push him there. Now he's in real trouble because Lodi, the Brazilian genius that he is, sees it and he's going to chop in and take him out of the game with one move. That chop there, you can see what happened. Even though it's happened, Sanchez's body weight has committed him in that direction, which doesn't allow him to get anywhere near Lodi at all. I love this Lodi player, man. We got the best left back in the Premier League. We really do. Cuts in, phases himself on his weak foot. I think it's a 3-star weak foot for you FIFA fans who know what I'm talking about. But it's not easy from there. A right-footed player would struggle to do this. He's got the corridor to aim in between these two. then he has to. You can see if you look at the actual line of the post between him and I think that's Diabolical there. He can't shoot straight at goal. So let's move the lines. He's got to, this is his corridor of shot. It's got to go out and bend into the corner like that. Fraser Forster is, I think, 6'7", 6'8", something stupid like that. He's got a long reach. And this is basically David versus Goliath. Lodi is probably about 5'8". And who's going to win the battle on their weaker foot? Of course, it's the Brazilian magical man. There's the shot on its way. The bend is perfect. Let's run it forward. Fraser with no chance. In she goes. Another goal from outside the box, guys. That's 2 matches in a row with shots from outside the box. Isn't it weird when you shoot at that thing they call the goal? Every now and again, the ball goes in. What a beautiful goal. What a beautiful, beautiful goal. All started with that press in the middle from Mangala, Aurier, and O'Brien. Where did they win the ball? They won it high up the pitch. The difference it makes for turnovers to come higher up the pitch is night and day. Normally, what I've been screaming about, what I've been frustrated with Cooper about, is the retreating to the halfway line. Why? What's to be gained by that? When if you've got players like Mangala and O'Brien, who's like little terriers that can get in there and win the ball high up the pitch and then look forward, it gives players confidence around them to attack because they know passes will be found. They know those tackles will be made. They make a huge difference, not just on the ball, but the work they're doing off the ball. I'm going off on a rant, but I strongly believe so firmly in those two are the key to the success of our midfield battles that I will harp on about it. Let's move forward. All right, guys, let's move on into the next sequence. And just before I do, just a quick reminder. Let me move the screen. Why is it all weird? Because we didn't have time for the fan forum last night after the player ratings, we'll be doing that tonight, and I'll be having a special guest host coming my way. So make sure you check that out tonight. Anyway, back into the action. And again, I just want to show you more examples of the press and how infectious it becomes when you've got leaders like O'Brien and Mangala doing it consistently in the middle. Ball's coming across here to Basuma. Basuma, look at O'Brien. O'Brien here, guys. Just O'Brien. Look at him. He sees the ball coming across. Does he stand in the retreating position that Cooper's been drilling them in, over the last few weeks? No. What does he do? He goes and he presses. He doesn't even need to get there before Basuma decides, nah, here comes the lobster, man. I've got to pass the ball across. He goes sideways. But again, just have a look at this. Look where Surridge is. You can see him just at the bottom here of the screen in our own half. As soon as the ball gets passed, watch him again. He's now on the move. What does he do? He carries on with the press. Now he's in full flight right here to press Dyer. Diabolical. What does Dyer do? He sees him coming. He feels there's no options. Again, look around. If we look at where all the players are positionally, you've got Ryan Yates covering the run here. You've got Jesse Lingard blocking the path here. You've got the only free pass is either here back to Basuma or out to the left back for him there. There's nothing he can do because the midfield is working so well. Midfield wins you matches. I'm convinced of it. Ball comes back across to Basuma. Now just have a look again. Just look at where O'Brien is. He's watching the play. He's watching the game, analysing what's going on. Facing back towards his own goal right now with distance to Basuma. Does he, when the ball is passed, not react? Of course not. He's straight on his way. Look, bang. I'm going to close him down. I'm going to press him. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. It wasn't even his best game. That's the best thing about yesterday. It wasn't his best overall game. What does he do here? Basuma takes a horrific touch. He has to stretch out for it. That gives O'Brien all the incentive he needs to go and press him now. Now he's in full flight to press him and capitalize on his mistake. And he gets there. He gets the tackle in. The ball then breaks to Iwoni. Iwoni, with a lovely Bambi-like touch, gives the ball to Lingard. Lingard looks up and threads an absolute beauty to Surridge. Surridge. Look at that pass. The ball's weighted beautifully. It's in the path. Look, say what you want about Lingard, or should I say, I've said what I've wanted about Lingard. One thing you can't deny is he's still got a through ball in his locker. He's got a lot of other things that he needs to impress me before he's forgiven for anything. One game does not get forgiveness with the Wolverine, but he's taken one step forward in what he did yesterday. The pass is perfect. Surridge has to score here, man. Surridge, we've always said, is a great finisher. This is a golden opportunity to score. Instead, he hits it straight at the keeper. Look, it is a bit of good press by Sanchez. But again, the whole point of this sequence is to show you that press from O'Brien that makes it infectious to Surridge. Surridge presses, forces the ball back. O'Brien presses again, high on the halfway line. We've been so starved of this. We've been so starved, and all we've had is low block football, apart from obviously the Brentford match last week. Are these signs of things to come? Are we finally seeing Cooper understanding the Premier League style tactics? Or was this just because of the selection that we had, Mangala and O'Brien, whose natural instincts are to play like this? Either way, these are questions that we'll see the answers to on Saturday. The second goal was coming. With pressing like this, it was going to happen. So let's quickly run through that as well. As I mentioned earlier on, Surridge Aurier's been a complete revelation, and he's one who has been pressing and tackling and running with the ball ever since he's got into the team. Now, let's have a look at this. This is the second goal. Look where we start from. Spurs start with the ball quite comfortably in and around the Forest half. Forest are in a really good shape. There's not many options. Now, Basuma's going to play out the ball wide. Now, he was crap all match, to be honest, Basuma. But look where Surridge Aurier is. There is a gap out there to Sessegnon. What does he do? As soon as the pass is played, bang, he's on his way. He gets there and he puts a tackle in. Now, the difference between him and Nico Williams is when Nico Williams gets there, he kind of goes in a crouch down position. I don't know if you guys have noticed. He'll stand up and hold the man up. Surridge Aurier fancies himself, but in the right times, he knows when to go in for the ball and he knows when he can win it. He puts in a wonderful tackle and the ball breaks nicely for Iwoni. But keep an eye on Surridge Aurier. Look where he is now. That's 29 years old. Apparently he's worth £0, 0 shillings and 0 pence. He's going to get straight past Sessegnon. And he's up alongside Iwoni now. But look at the determination. He gets himself ahead of Iwoni. And he's like, son, Bambi, it's your mother here. Give me the ball. I'll take it from here. Well done on getting it to there. But look at the distance Surridge has already covered. He started from the edge of our own box. He's already in the Spurs half. And he's got all this space here to work with. And he's going to run into it. He just gets his head down, man. He gets his head down. Works into the space. He has to look up. He's already assessing the situation. This is what I love about him. He's working the ball while looking across, assessing the situation to decide what his next move is. Spurs, how did you get rid of this guy? How? I mean, I love Spence. I miss Spence. But when you see someone working the way he does, with that added experience that Spence doesn't have, you gotta think, recruitment team, whoever was slating you about him, wasn't me, but man, what a player. What a player. Anyway, let's move it forward. He gets to here. He's already seen where Surridge is, where Lingard is, where Iwoni is, and he delivers an absolute beauty. He whips it straight across goal, right here onto the head of Surridge. Oh, skipped it back. Let's move forward. And there, bang, Surridge heads it across goal. I'm still not convinced if he's heading it across goal or he's going for goal. Maybe he's looking to pick Iwoni out with that header. It doesn't matter because the moment we've been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen, we've waited weeks, months for this moment as Lingard comes across, gets the header, puts it into the back of the net, opens up his account at the City ground, well, at Forest full stop, and it's 2-0 to Forest. Celebration, there it is. We haven't seen it all season. It was lovely to see it. And then who's there across to celebrate with him? Of course, none other than Aurier. I couldn't capture the passion, the release of emotion that he puts. Surridge Aurier cares. Lingard looked like he cared yesterday as well. Very pleasing on the eye. There's one more example I want to bring to you. I could have brought hundreds of them. Literally hundreds of them. It's all about the press. Look at this. And not just the press, it's what they do after the press. There's a big difference between just winning the ball and doing nothing with it, losing possession on the 50-50, then the the second ball and what have you. The difference with Mangala and O'Brien is what they do after they win the ball. So the ball is over here. It's going to be threaded into this gap here in towards the Spurs player. Look where Mangala is, covering beautifully, positionally, absolutely spot on. Ball comes across. It breaks, it kind of ricocheted a bit, and then it pops up to him. He flicks it up. He's taken out the Spurs player with that. Now look, what does he do? Let's just bring it down here. Actually, no, let's bring it here. There's one pass there. There's a pass there. There's a pass there. There are players in our team who would take those passes. Not Mangala. Not Mangala. His first thought is, there's enough space for me to drive forward with this ball. And that's exactly what he does. He gets the ball and drives forward. He gets all the way here to about, 30, 35 yards into our half. And he looks up. Now, remember Xhaka against Forest, the ball he played, where we allowed him the space and time? Because you have to say Spurs were crap. Look at the time and space they are allowing him on the ball here. But look at this pass. It's so good that I can't fit it on screen. Just notice where he is now. And notice there's the release of the ball. And then just notice where it goes. Johnson's still not hooked onto the ball because the path isn't complete. It's still curving into his path. It's not until we get to this point exactly where Jono's taken his first touch. What a ball by Mangala. And what did it come from? Press, quick movement forward, look up, there's the runner. Johnson's now confident. You know, when you've got players around you like that who can thread a ball, you as an attacker are more confident to make the run because you know they're going to find the gaps. Jono from here, though. Last season, you can light the cigar. This is a goal, 100%. He's going to ditch the defender. They're not catching him, but he doesn't quite get going enough. And for me, it's at this stage where he makes his mistake. For me, he should have carried on driving at this angle to keep it on his right foot. What he'll end up doing is coming here a bit wider, narrows the angle down a bit and brings it onto his left foot. Even though he went that way, I still last season would have really fancied him to score it. He's come there. You look at the angle. There's still plenty of the goal to aim at over here to the right of Fraser Forza. He's actually positioned quite well. Maybe his better option was to bend it there. I feel like Fraser was kind of wanting him or guided him in towards taking that shot across goal. But either way, he's unable to score. But it will come. He just needs some confidence. Guys, it's been one hell of a performance from Nottingham Forest. It really has. So for me, guys, I was just so impressed. I don't care what this idiot Conte says. I don't care what our ex-player Dean Saunders says. I don't care how annoyed little Tommy O'Hara was on talksport either. The difference wasn't that Spurs played crap. The huge difference was that midfield and the way they pressed and the way they encouraged everyone to do it as well. Lead by example, it's infectious. Play crap, it's infectious. Lead by example, it's infectious. Look, you've got to shout out as well the defensive back line. I would probably argue that the four that started yesterday are a stronger four than that started against Brentford because Worrell's passes were forward. Bolly grew into the game as well and stepped forward out of the defence a couple of times. We haven't been seeing that with Cook and McKenna. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you agree with me and think that back four was better than the back four we've seen over the last few weeks? Obviously, Aurier has been in both of them. He's not part of this debate. There's no debate there. But Lodi, for me, was brilliant in the game. Shout out to most of the players, to be honest. To most of the players. They were exceptional. Hennessy was brilliant in goal as well. Distribution, first half, couple of bad ones, but overall, very good. Let's see what happens in the Brentford game. Who we got again, guys? Crystal Palace game on Saturday. Of course, we'll have that watch along live for you on the channel. But remember, tonight, well, firstly, we got the Predictor League coming up early evening. Then we got the Fan Forum. Then tomorrow we got the Forest Forum ahead of the Palace match. The content is going to be coming thick and fast as we come in to the last furlongs of this part of the season. Don't worry, we're going nowhere. We'll have World Cup coverage coming for you guys as well. Let me know if there's anything specific that you want to see. Me and my guys have already started planning out what we're going to do, and we'll start that off and kick it off hopefully next week. Guys, before I leave you, a quick reminder and a quick thank you again to all of you who have donated. There's the recent donor, James W., you legend with the £5. Thank you so much. Every pound counts. As Nottingham Now and Then said yesterday, donating £100 by one person or 100 people donating £1 is exactly the same. So if you'd like to donate as little as 99p, hit the join button. We'll take that money and we'll put it in the pot at the end of the week. And then also you'll get all the channel perks. Or if you want to donate more than that, please do scan the barcode, the QR code, or click on the link in the description down below and donate generously. I set a target of £500. You guys smashed that in a couple of hours. I upped it to 1,000. It took you all of 1 hour to hit that. And now I'm getting greedy. But let's get greedy when it comes to charity. We're looking for £2,000. Guys, can we get over the line? This community amazes me. I knew how good this community was, but it still surprises me every day. And I love each and every one of you. We'll see you for the Predictor stream at about, I don't know, it'll be early evening, something like that. If we don't see you there, hopefully we catch you on the fan forum tonight where you guys get to call in and let us know your thoughts. Until then, guys, thank you for watching. Do hit that like and subscribe to the channel. Come on, you Reds!